CDs. I could not find it. I thought I had it. But it doesn't matter. You know that this is an evening, a time to say goodbye. Even Paul the Apostle had to say goodbye before he went on to his next missionary journey. And his journey to Jerusalem, which would set up a series of next steps for taking him finally to Rome, began right there where he was with others. Before sailing away from Ephesus, we read these words in Acts 20. When he had finished speaking, he knelt and prayed with them. They all cried as they embraced and kissed him goodbye. Paul was a traveling man. He was always going from one city to the next, one part of their known world to the next. He was on a mission. And because this call to follow after Jesus wherever Jesus led him meant leaving for new places, goodbye was always in his vocabulary. What does saying goodbye really mean in this context and even in the context tonight? It means willingness to let go. Paul was not so attached to any one place. He did not settle down so as to be immovable, unable to go somewhere else. Letting go for us in the 21st century is not always easy. Especially, it is hard for us to say goodbye to material comfort. But, and here it is clear, in order to follow after Jesus, there must be a certain willingness to let go of our security systems. I am sure, Kayla, and the sermon is particularly for you, as you might have imagined. But it's also for all the rest of us who are called into the same circumstances, only for her it's a little more dramatic tonight. I am sure, Kayla, that you will be challenged by the insecurities you will find among the people you will be with. I know my brother recently was in Honduras, and that's not the location where you're going to, but he's been to Honduras a number of times, and he was really, really distressed to see such need in places he had been before, and even a bit worse than he had experienced before. Things that should have been fixed are never fixed. People that need to be helped are never helped. And you don't have any of these security systems in these places. Letting go of some normal comforts may be required of you, Kayla. Just do it. In good faith, then you will have what you need. Parker Palmer, who wrote this book that I hope you enjoyed seeing the newsletter. Thank you, Kinnan, for those marvelous pictures that he put on the digital one. Our hard copy's in the back, but it doesn't match the beauty of the digital one. Parker Palmer, in his book, On the Brink of Everything, he says this: clinging to what you already know is the path to an unlived life. Did you hear that? Clinging to what you already know is the path to an unlived life. Saying goodbye also means to open up for the new. Traveling with an open heart lets fresh air blow into your life. Paul's world was smaller in many ways than our own, yet he knew the contrast between the world of the Jews and the Greeks and the Romans. Wherever he went, Paul was open to how the others lived and thought, in order to so identify with them that he could tell them about Jesus. 1 Corinthians 9:19-23 says this, and Paul writes, "Even though I am a free man with no master, I have become a slave to all people to bring many to Christ. When I was with the Jews, I I lived like a Jew to bring the Jews to Jesus. When I was with those who followed the Jewish law, I too lived under that law, even though I am not subject to the law. I did this so I could bring to Christ those who are under the law. When I am with the Gentiles who do not know the Jewish law, I too live apart from that law so I can bring them to Christ. But I do not ignore the law of God. I obey the law of Christ. When I am with those who are weak, I share their weakness. For I want to bring the weak to Christ. Yes, I try to find common ground with everyone, doing everything I can to save some. I do everything to spread the good news and share in its blessings. In our world of nationalism, it will be your challenge, Caleb, to open up to the people you meet and letting your American and German roots go to the background so that you can be open to the people you are with. So that finally the love of Jesus will be the most important thing, and you can let that connection be the connecting link to others. Saying goodbye also means to understand that those you leave behind may suffer more than you do. The people Paul left in Ephesus were very distressed because Paul had said, I'm not coming back again. Now, Kayla, I know you haven't said that you're not coming back again, but it was easier for Paul to move on ahead, ready for the new adventures, than for those remaining behind who would not have that, but feel the absence and the hole in their hearts. I've actually been on both sides of that. I've left people behind to go on new things, and people have left me to go on to new things. Both can have pain attached. Paul would push on. They would try to hold on. And that is a difficult position. Paul sensed that, so saying goodbye meant to place everyone in God's hands. Paul prayed for them. And in the months ahead, they kept praying for Paul. This connectedness through prayer and the presence of the Spirit everywhere kept them together even when they were apart. Saying goodbye means letting go of the old, opening up for the new, understanding the others left behind, and keeping connected through prayer. And finally, saying goodbye means realizing that you are on the brink of everything. If you read the newsletter, you will know that that's in my mind right now, that book by Palmer Parker, I think is his name, On the Brink of Everything. Caleb, all of life is just ahead. Each part of the journey can be the moment where you discover something new about this everything. And that is not just for Caleb, by the way. It's for all of us tonight. She just experiences it more dramatically right now because she's physically leaving. And getting on the plane is like a physical scissors cutting through the paper of her life. But all of us should take this moment to reconsider where we are on our journey with Jesus. What is the next everything that is going to come our way? In this book I've been reading, one of the interesting things is to consider each thing that happens to learn out of it. Even tonight, when we know Michael forgot, or everybody forgot something, he hopes to discover it. What does that teach everyone? Is there a teaching thing in that? Sometimes the everyday things of life are the teaching moments where the brink of learning what God has for us is right there. We're always standing on the brink. What new adventure lies ahead for all of us? Do we even expect something new? I remember in my life some of these moments being in college. I was a sophomore, or a junior actually, I think it was. And I remember Hilka Kamalaska, a Finnish woman, came to the school where I was. And she preached about mission opportunities in Europe. And that we should just go and not wait to be sent. And I remember I was in my first year of taking German, and I thought, do I need to go to Germany this summer? And I asked my German prof, what do I do to do that? And it turned out that we worked on ways of me going to Europe, Germany, for that warm summer in 1971. And I was there for the summer in a church. At 21, just going there, and I want to say, though, that my parents helped me go. And this is good news for Linda and Michael, who also are on your enterprise. Caleb, parents often need to be doing something constructive to help their kids do what they think God wants them to do. That can come in different ways. But certainly without that sort of support, it's very hard to do anything. I remember my parents helped me, and I had my first plane ride on Icelandic Air, going from Chicago via Iceland to Frankfurt, not knowing anything that was going to happen next. That was one of the biggest adventures. Getting off in Luxembourg, and then having to take a bus from Luxembourg to Frankfurt, and then having to find a taxi driver. And all I had was a address of Karl Grasberger living in Frankfurt, Bonabé's outside of Frankfurt. And the taxi driver knew I was kind of nervous about this next step, because I only had this piece of paper. He could have driven me anywhere. And that's what I feared at that night. But he touched my knee, which wasn't a real good signal to me. But he was trying to say, calm down, I'm going to get you to this location. And that was when the next part of my adventure started in Germany. That step caused that after graduating from college, I went back to Frankfurt and worked in the Office of Underground Evangelism. And then I went back for graduate school. And then I met Alfred, and then we returned. Do you see how all of these steps evolve? One into the next without any sort of plan. I didn't plan my life. There was just the next step. Do you sense what I'm saying? Making one decision brings you to the brink of everything. The next step follows, and so the adventure with Jesus takes on shape and form. Our challenge for all of us here is to approach our living, our daily living, as standing there looking out for what lies ahead. What has just occurred in my life? Right now, today, this week. What does it mean for me on my journey? How does this shape and form me as a person? Lord, what's going on here? Many of you have had things happening just in the last while where you can ask yourself that question, what's going on here? Kayla, we also want to say that bringing such experiences back to the community is important. I got your first email, and many of you who had your name on her list, and you can still put your name on her list, you'll get this diary, her travel diary. So if you haven't gotten it today, give her your email address. We need to hear what's happening. In the sharing actually is the last part about saying goodbye. Saying goodbye does not cut us off, but connects us in a new way. Paul, wrote many letters to congregations and people he had to leave behind. He wrote letters that we still read. The possibilities of sharing are there, but Kayla, I want to tell you this. Live things first, and then share them. Don't worry about having to produce something to write in your silly letter. Live something. Live it out, and then share what you've lived. digest and reflect on your brink of everything, and then share with us what you have discovered. Our community here is one of being together and then scattering and then returning. We could sing many verses of what that means for all of us. May the Lord help us to embrace this pattern and so remain on the adventure with Jesus together. And all the people said,